Welcome to Noona Ya Business Podcast, episode 35, Front Row at BTS, with your hosts, Becca and Megan. Well, it happened, and we are still processing it. 1 week ago today, we sat front row at the BTS Love Yourself tour, and today we unpack all of our feelings and emotions. From Yoongi's pajama suit to Jimin's giggle to RM's glasses, we replay the entire night. Thank you to all of our listeners who sent us well wishes and advice. Thank you to all of our new friends we made at the show. And thank you personally for being here again today. We can't wait to talk to you all again. That's what you're in for today on Noona Ya Business.
Test.
We're here.
I'm going to burp.
It's a miracle. Megan is burping.
That didn't pick up on the mic, I hope. I'm drinking a carbonated beverage. It's not my fault.
How do they start movies?
Dun, 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 dun.
3, 2, 1.
Oh, the clap. That's right. Cough. Yeah. What's up? How are you?
Hi, everybody. We're a little rushed tonight. It's my fault.
It's not your fault.
My husband has to work all week. And with
It's
the
just one of
kids
those
and
things.
commute, tonight is the only night we could podcast. And we're a little
We're on a
pushed
timer.
for time. So it won't be a full-on episode.
It'll be pretty close.
It'll be gosh darn delightful.
We can do
is
this.
what it's going to be.
We also should say that you're catching us 1 week after the BTS concert.
1 week
So-
to the day.
Yeah, so it is very, very fresh for us. We did record a podcast last week, but we were a little tipsy and did not have the mic set up correctly. Kind of.
We were traveling. We did have the mic set up, so we had guests. And what had happened was Megan and I sat by each other, so our voices were picked up perfectly. But whenever a guest would talk, it did not pick up their voices at all. So there's like a ton
Just
of the
holes.
podcasts where they're just giant holes and you have no idea who's talking or what they're saying.
Which
And
frankly sounds kind of fun.
as a podcast lover, I could not do that to you, listener,
Yeah.
because those things drive me crazy.
So we're going to do take two.
Take two.
What was the other thing we had to take two? Oh, Rooftop Prince Part 2.
Yeah.
And that turned out great.
Let's make this our last take two, because it's exhausting to
I
redo
hope
a
that we
podcast.
had. Oh, actually, that's a fun segue. We have gotten a few emails the last couple weeks. So as you guys know, I'm moving. And we've got a few people emailing like, oh no, what's going to happen to the podcast? Are you guys going to stop podcasting?
Yes.
Yes, this is it. This is the last episode. Wait, you're kidding, right, Becca?
I'm kidding.
I thought that was Becca telling me for
No,
the first time.
I'm kidding. I'm sorry.
The short answer is no, we're not going to stop. And the long answer is no, we're not going to stop. We'll keep podcasting. We'll just be doing it remotely. There might be a few kinks to work out, but you shall still hear us. We shall still be here because, frankly, I need at least one night a week where I see Becca, or else I'll lose my mind.
Also, everybody emailing us has been wonderful.
Oh, yeah.
Do you guys know what a pleasure it is? So we went to the show. Obviously, we didn't get tickets originally. It was a whole conundrum. We were very upset about it. Still upset at Ticketmaster and the whole ticketing situation in the world today. It's not fair. Feeling bad about it. Got tickets. Do you know how many people reached out to us within hours of the show to be like, hey, I know you guys are at the BTS show. I hope you guys have a good time.
It was amazing.
It was like Christmas morning.
It made the whole experience feel so much more exciting because, okay, this is actually really a good comparison. So when did we go to Big Bang? 4 years ago?
4 years ago.
4 years ago.
October 4th, 20.
Yes.
It was like almost to
Within
the
the same
day.
week.
Yeah.
And when we went, we were so excited. It was like the biggest thing for us that year. And no one around us understood the magnitude of what we were doing. So it was like, no one was excited for us. People were like, oh, cool, have fun. But nobody understood
People
how
be like,
massive
You're going
it was.
Where? Be
You're
like,
like-
I'm flying to LA.
Yeah.
Oh, what for? For a Big Bang
Yeah.
concert. And they were like, oh.
And then I would feel
we'll see you
myself
in a couple days.
downplaying it, where I'd be like, oh, it's just this, it's no big deal. It's just this band from Korea. And it's like, that's not how I felt.
Right.
I felt like I was flying on a cloud. I was so excited. Total opposite for this concert because we have such a wider support group, I guess now, support system, where now it's like, maybe we haven't met you in person, but getting an email from you that's like, have so much fun tonight, it made me have more fun.
It made me have way more fun. And honestly, we had a few listeners that emailed us and said, I wish I had my email pulled up, One in particular was like, Becca, I know you said you're going to feel guilty because so many people couldn't get tickets and whatever. And she's like, it is your obligation to go
Isabel
and have a great time.
Yes.
And it is your obligation to sing and dance for all of us that can't be there. And I'm not kidding, guys. It made the whole experience better.
It did.
It really did.
It was also, I think that we have dipped our toes into the fandom a little bit more than we did for Big Bang. Because at the time we were still kind of
We've
new.
cannonballed into the fandom.
We did a full-on nosedive into this. So we also, I feel like we're more prepared to interact with other fans, which was a very special experience at the actual venue.
So I want to say before we dig into the meat of the podcast, we won't have as many games today. We aren't going to do reassesses and stuff because we kind of got to jump in. Sorry, that's my fault. I apologize.
It's not your fault.
Me and A. Isabel emailed us and said it's your obligation to have fun for all the fans that they're not coming to our country, for all the fans that couldn't get tickets fairly, for all the fans that got duped out of tickets. Like, it's your obligation to go and have fun. And so she did also say, if you could please yell, I will sue you, Min Yoongi, at least once for me, that would mean a lot to me. So please know, I did you one better. There were several times throughout the show where I would just look at Yoongi and go, you dangerous man. Because if you've seen that fan video where that fan yells at him at a fan sign, she's like, I will sue you, Min Yoongi. You're a dangerous man.
That's so amazing.
And so I said it like 3 or 4 times. Also, I want to say, as we get ready to go. So Isabel, that was for you. I honestly am shocked Megan is still my friend. My face is getting red because I lost my mind. The lights went down at that show.
Oh.
And there were several parts where I would stop and try to like take a conscious effort of realizing where are my limbs? What are my vocal cords doing right now? I was not in control of myself. I was screaming louder than like the 16-year-old next to me.
Well, I think she was in a fugue state.
She
like
was
I didn't hear her make a sound. She was in total shock.
So I was screaming for everybody. I was singing and
You'll never ever
and
believe this, but it made it so much more fun. I feel like I loosened up because you were loose and having fun, and then I was like, okay, that seems more fun than my usual thing.
Because I honestly left the show being like, Megan's never gonna talk to me again.
Are you kidding? I was so much better than a Big Bang. At Big Bang, I feel like my brother was even like, I thought you were like angry.
Yes.
I was like, no, I was processing everything.
There was a lot to process here too.
And I feel like I was much better. I was way less crazy than after Big Bang.
Yeah. Me too.
I was way more loose and had a lot more fun.
The post-show blues were there,
but not as
bad. I think we were prepared for how we would feel after the show.
And we also were talking about it afterward, and we do think there's maybe something to it where, like, we knew going to Big Bang, like, this is it for a while because they all didn't list, and we don't really know what's next for BTS, so it doesn't feel quite so, like, well, this is goodbye,
right?
As it did for Big Bang. So I think that helped too, because there was just that like sense of kind of sadness about that. I also had a moment where in the middle of the concert, I was able to sort of step back and be like, this is happening right now, and you need to appreciate that this is happening. Like, this is this moment that you've been waiting for. And it was a very good thing to do. I would highly recommend it if you're going to see them still, or anybody that you really like. Take a moment and be like, okay, this is it. This is that moment.
I'm processing this
because
right now.
Because I feel like it will allow me to remember things a little bit more clearly than I do sometimes.
Yeah. So let's dig in. You guys, it was amazing.
Oh, yeah. It was incredible.
It was so good. I'm not going to lie. I did feel guilty. There were definitely parts of the show where I was having the most fun of my life, and then I would think about a listener, or I don't know. Sometimes it's just in my nature to like step back and be empathetic and think, gosh, there are so many people that want to be here that can't be here.
Right.
And then I would get kind of sad, but I'd be like, no, I'm going to enjoy this for them. And then I'd get ramp back up, and yeah.
And I feel like mine was similar, but it was more of like I would get overwhelmed with gratitude. And I'm really not trying to make you uncomfortable, but
no,
because I did have that thought of like, if I would not be here if it weren't for Becca. Because I wouldn't have been. I give up on things. Like, I would have given up. I wouldn't have taken the time. No. And that's why I need you in my life, is because I would have just been like, well, I didn't get tickets. I guess this is it.
Yeah.
So I did have that thought, like, it's amazing that I'm here. If it weren't for you, I wouldn't be here.
My husband asked me, so honestly, the highlight for the show for me was, and we'll get into the real specifics. I just feel like there's so much I have to like get out.
Let's just do it. There's no structure. We're just going to go for it.
So my husband asked me when I got home, well, what was the highlight of the show? And I go, I honestly couldn't tell you. I remember the moment, and I remember how I was feeling. But as far as what song was being performed at the time, I don't know. There was just a moment where I, like you just said, was completely overcome with gratefulness for everything in my life. Like, it just hit me all of a sudden. And I don't know if it was maybe when they were talking and one of the members had said something about, I honestly don't remember. I just remember all of a sudden stepping outside of myself and being like, oh my God, I have a great marriage. I have 3 beautiful kids. My best friend is sitting right next to me at this concert. My family's all healthy and we all like each other. Like, it was just this total moment of gratitude. And like, are there things that are wrong in my life? Sure. But none of them were even a blip on my radar. All of a sudden, it was just like, I'm just so grateful for the way I'm feeling. I'm so grateful for the way that I feel loved. I'm so grateful for the love I can give. It was just one of those moments where I'm like, I sound like a crazy hippie, but I don't even care. It was a beautiful moment. I couldn't even tell you what song it was. But like right now, talking about it, I'm feeling it all over again.
That's awesome.
And I was like, I think that's what BTS wants. I think anybody who does art of any kind, they want you to feel some sort of emotion. And I honestly left thinking, I probably achieved the nirvana they hope they give everybody at some point.
And they do. I mean, like, it's obvious they put everything into every show. There was not a single moment where the energy was low or anything. Like, I felt psyched out because they were so happy and they seemed to be enjoying themselves so much. I did have one moment where in the middle of Euphoria, I was like, what am I doing with my life? And I don't know where it came from. But I was overcome with fear and hopelessness. And then I was like, stop it, Megan. Jungkook is right there. What are you doing? Why are you sabotaging yourself?
So we've said it before, but I feel like we need to reiterate. We had front row tickets, which we're thanking the universe for sending our way.
They were perfect.
They were so much closer than I thought they were going to be.
Yes.
And then I had bought my brother-in-law a ticket in our section, and he was like row 11 or 12 or 13.
Not too far back, yeah.
So he was a good 10 rows behind us. I went up before the show because I'd also made all these fake tattoos of like...
Oh my God, they're amazing.
Every single BT 21 character, every single member of BTS, I made a tattoo of their signature.
Which was incredible.
And then I made some of the flower tattoo, fake tattoos. And so before the show... we sat down and I passed them out to people sitting around us. We got to meet them, and some of the people have some really crazy stories. And then I went up to see if Jeff was doing okay and passed them out to people around his section. But even when I went up to Jeff, I was like, God, this is so close. Yeah. It's so close. But watching all the fan cams and stuff, I really don't think there was a bad seat in that place.
I don't either. The way the stage was set up, it was like you're going to get a good view of them no matter what. And I know when you're higher up, because I've seen concerts up in that 3rd level of the United Center before, and it's like I can't see their expressions, but I can see everything. Right. And I feel like that's just a great place for a concert.
It was unreal.
And it was packed. I think I made some prediction a long time ago when we were mad about Ticketmaster that like there were going to be all these empty seats because nobody can afford to buy them. I don't know where y'all came up with the money, but people bought those seats. It was completely full.
They were packed.
I don't know that I've
almost
ever been
made me angry when I saw it. Because I was like, all that money, we all got scammed out of this money. Anyway, happy thoughts.
It was worth it. It was worth it.
My favorite story of the night was when I came back from visiting Jeff to sit back down by our seats. There was a girl losing her gosh darn mind. She was walking into our section, and the security guard was like, oh, I know you, go on in. And she was like talking to me. And I was like, well, I want to talk to this girl. And I was like, what? And the mom's like, we had 3rd upper pavilion seats. Oh, and there was a spotlight right on them, right by them. I'm a little confused what it was. And her daughter must have some sort of condition where she can't have that flashing in her face.
Oh, gosh.
And so they went to somebody that works at the United Center, and told them. And they comped them with like 3rd or 4th row tickets in our section.
Amazing.
And this girl was losing her mind. And I was like, I'm so happy for you. And her mom was there. And I was like, you guys have the best time tonight, okay? And then I was like, hey, do you want a fake tattoo? Because I have fake tattoos. And the mom's like, are you kidding me? And the mom like almost started crying. And I was like, this is the best night ever.
Yeah, it was the way it felt inside the United Center was just, It was a happy place to be.
It was a total love fest.
People were just happy. I don't know if people in other sections had different experiences. Oh, actually, I saw something cool too that I didn't even tell you about.
Tell me.
So I think they were sisters sitting next to us. Super awesome.
Oh, they
ladies.
were so much fun.
Really cool. And one of them had the light stick, and she like turned it red and was like waving it wildly. This was before the show started. I'm like, what are you doing? I saw all the way across the United Center, somebody else had turned their light stick red and was waving it at her. And it was like somebody she had met through the fandom on Twitter. And they were like saying hi using the BTS, the Bangtan bomb. It was so cool. I was like, this is amazing. People are coming together.
It's like smoke signals.
It really
for
was.
The fandom.
It seriously was like, it was, I was like, what the heck is going on? I don't even know what's happening. And they actually found each other.
That is so cute. And then the girl who sat right next to me then was this young girl from St. Louis, and her dad had driven her all the way up to Chicago, and they were going to drive home after the show. That's like a 6 or 7 hour car ride after the show.
That's a committed parent right there.
And so he's like, I don't really know much about it, but my wife said when she found out they're coming, I don't care how much you spend on tickets, but you're taking her. I don't want to go. You're taking her. And he's like, so I'm here. And you could tell he was kind of
like, didn't necessarily
about it.
Want to be there.
But in the middle of the concert, I would look over and he was jamming so hard to the concert.
Impossible not to fall for them.
It was so fun. It was so much fun.
I wish Nate had been there because he gives me so much crap. Because, okay, all right, he knows me historically and he knows the way I behave. And it is not always healthy, the way I obsess over stuff. So I'm sure he sees my BTS obsession. He's like, red flag, this is not natural. But I want to be like, if you took the time to understand it, you'd see why. Because this is better than some of my past obsessions. Looking at you in sync. Not the best choice.
It was so fun. Moral of the story, it was a love fest.
It was great.
Everybody we met was insanely lovely.
Yeah.
And we sat really close.
Also, we had a couple of drinks. Mm-hmm. They pour them strong at the United Center.
They pour them you get your money's worth at the United
Center. You definitely do. But we were sweating and dancing so much, I don't think I ever felt like I was even buzzed.
It was just the perfect evening. Mm-hmm. So, again, we sat super close. Also, we will post a picture. The amount of stuff that comes off of the stage, I actually had to laugh because there was a part before the show, and I think this is the first show where he said it. RM said, we're so happy to be here. Please, as a safety thing, don't throw stuff on stage because we don't want anybody getting hurt. And he said it in a very nice, polite way. But on Twitter, I was looking afterwards, and people were, like, freaking out. Like, he's never had to, like, warn people about that before. And so he said that. But then when I left, I was like, I wanted to tweet at them and be like, well, you threw all this stuff at me.
Seriously.
Because it was confetti, streamers.
There was like
fireworks. We had ashes raining down on us after the fireworks. There
was
fire.
Bubbles coming out of the stage.
It was insane the amount of stuff that was flying at us.
Were the streamers during just dance?
Not just dance.
Is it called just dance?
I don't know.
What's J-Hope's song called?
Oh, yeah.
Just dance. Just dance. So at one point, these streamers come out, and I literally had my tequila in my hand, and I'm like trying to shield it from the streamers because they were just like, they just keep coming. I'm like, no, not in my drink.
And this is what BTS does to people. People behind me were tapping me on my shoulder and being like, can you pass some of the streamers back?
Oh, yeah.
Like, people wanted the streamers.
Grabbing handfuls
of them.
Sure,
there's 1,000.
I have hoarding tendencies, but even I was like, I'm just going to leave these here. Although I did. All right, guys, we're friends, so I'm going to tell you this story. This is getting pretty personal. We went to the bathroom afterward. I took off my pants. And confetti fell out of my pants. I have absolutely no idea how it got in there.
That's not symbolism for what BTS does to Megan. I don't know what it is.
You know, Jungkook, close your ears. You're too young for this.
It was amazing.
It was amazing. It was amazing.
It was great.
And we haven't even started talking about the show, really.
I know.
That's just like... Oh, we're doing okay on time, right?
We're fine.
Okay.
So, the show.
Okay, do we want to do our one word?
Sure.
Maybe
we have a real quick game. We actually did this right after. So, what we had planned was we podcasted right before the show. And then we podcasted as soon as we got home from the show. And we were going to mash them up together.
Yeah. And Sarah, I read your obituary email because it was hilarious.
Isabel, we read some of your email.
Yeah, we had all this great stuff. But then the best laid plans of mice and men.
Yeah, so we tried. We failed you all. But I thought it would be funny, and it kind of did happen, was we start off the podcast being all happy and excited and normal, and then we get back, and it's like our voices were like dying because we had been screaming and singing. Anywho, let's start with the game. So the game we played was one word, or we could do sound effects, one word, phrase, whatever, to describe each member after we left the show. So either the way you however they left you feeling. Like if you had to leave the show and say, what was Jin like in the show? And you could only use one word or sound effect. What would it be? So, do you want to go first?
Yeah, I don't remember what I originally said for all
I don't
of them,
either, so
but
I made
some
up
of them
new
I
ones.
do. And
Yeah.
I stick with what I initially said about Jin, which was elusive. Because I felt like I could never find him on stage. There was during, I think, Idol, I was like, wait, are they all up there? Where's Jin? I can't find him. And I found him. He was there. But I feel like I kept having that thought where I'd be looking around. I'm like, wait, where'd Jin go? And he was just always out of my sight range. He was there the whole time. He just did not want me to look at him, I guess.
He's very sneaky.
Yes.
I rethought my word. I don't remember what I said originally, but my word was hello because you guys, I've given Jin a lot of.
Yeah,
He's been my punching bag on this show. Like in the best way.
Oh,
I
because
love
we're
Jin.
all friends.
I love Jin.
Yes.
But I went to the show and there were several moments where I would just like catch myself just open mouth gawking at Jin because it takes you 3 nights and 4 days to look him top to bottom. He's so tall. His face is perfect.
Which, all right, we joke about Jungkook listening to this podcast and like telling everything we want to Big Hit, and I still believe that that's happening.
Hi, Jungkook.
But now I think they've just bugged us because before the show, the girl sitting next to me is a Jin stan.
Yes.
And she was like, oh, in one of the Canadian tour stops, he parted his hair so he was showing his forehead. And she's like, he didn't do it last night. I really wish he would do it here. And guess what? Jin came out with the forehead blaring.
Bam.
It was glorious.
It was amazing. So
Yeah.
I will say
He looked
Jin looks even more magnificent.
Oh, they
all
all
do.
do.
It's
And
annoying.
everybody always says that, like, oh, they're even more handsome in person. It's infuriatingly true.
Yes. But I just feel like there was like a light. Like, granted, they were on stage. There were a million lights. But there was just a light around all of them. Like, I felt like subconsciously, I could tell you at all times where every single person was. Like, I just constantly, they just emit this, I don't know
It's
what
like
it
a Google
is.
Maps.
It is.
Where it's like a ping on a Google
You're like,
map. You're
Becca,
like, ping, ping,
you
ping.
are 3 degrees to the left from looking right at Jin. And I
Yes.
would just look.
Yes.
It will take you 4 seconds to pan this way to see Yoongi. And I would just look. It was great. It was amazing. All right, let's go to J-Hope.
No, Yoongi.
Oh, Yoongi. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry, Yoongi.
I think that I'm going to stick with my word for him also, which was thorough. Because he did a thorough job of making me feel confused about my feelings. Like the whole time. So, all right. You know how really good performers know how to make it seem like they're always making eye contact with you? I swear to you, this man was looking dead at us like the whole night.
Okay, I need to, quick side note. We're going to say it again. All 7 members looked right at us. But Yoongi, it was
felt like-
non-stop.
Like when they look at you, you're like, oh, he looked at me. And then you're like, I know he didn't really look at me. With Yoongi, it was like, is he looking at me?
I was like, he's still looking
should
at
I
us.
blink? I don't know what to do. I feel really uncomfortable, but in a very good way. So I say thorough because he worked that stage. Like because we feel like we know them from the run and Bon Voyage and all that stuff. I kind of expected him to be a little less energetic or like a little lazier about his performance. So the opposite. He was just so captivating.
The man
and
put on the miles.
He
Was
did.
all over the place.
It was the most energetic thing I've ever seen. He was everywhere. He looked incredible. I felt like his crowd service was just so good and
but like also lazy. Like I don't know how to describe it.
like so
He
nonchalant
was
about it.
Probably, in my opinion, at that show, and it could be different at every show. In my opinion, at that particular show, he gave everybody in that arena time and attention.
Yes,
without making it seem like it was
like he wasn't working.
an effort at all. And it had to be an effort to be like, okay, I've looked over here, I should look over here. He made it seem like the easiest thing, like it was breathing for him.
And there were a couple members where you could see were like making the effort to like look at every single section. I think you just had like a teeny tiny love affair with every single one of us. Oh, and then moved on.
There's a beautiful thing that
Girl,
you just said.
That's a fanfic waiting to happen.
My word was no. No, sir. That was my original word, and that is still my word, because they opened up with Idol, where we were sitting. The choreography was facing us because they all turned sideways, and they all 7 were looking in our general direction, but Yoongi was looking right.
It was
at
just
us,
like
right off the bat of the
seriously,
show.
so unnerving.
And it's the same thing where I was like, "No, sir, I am married," and then I was like, "But please don't stop looking
seriously."
at me.
And it was like, I shouldn't like this. I'm like not supposed to like this because you're not for me. Like,
and it's also, and we'll get into that too, but his performance was so him. Like his song Seesaw starts and ends with him laying down. And it's
honestly,
like, how dare you do exactly what I think and just be 10 times better than what I'm expecting. Like it was so good.
He is the one who I feel like I changed the way I think about him after the show. I have a much more complicated relationship with him than I did before.
You're making me sweat a little.
I'm very sweaty right now.
It was a great show.
Yeah.
Like, I think that'll be a moment when I die that'll flash before my eyes. It'll just be Yoongi staring at us. Because it just made me feel good.
I felt great.
I felt very loved.
He was a whole new kind of sexy in my eyes.
Mm-hmm.
It was fantastic.
All right, J-Hope.
Okay, so this sounds like I don't remember what my original word is, but I think it was along these lines, and it sounds like I'm like poo-pooing him, but I'm not. I'm just say expected, because everyone told us like J-Hope's going to steal the show. He did not disappoint. He was everything everybody told us he was going to be. Gave it 1,000,000%. Was just like he met all my expectations, which were that he was going to be incredible. Mm-hmm. And I feel like it was like, oh, yep, check. There it goes. Yep, check.
I'm going to say the same thing. It's going to sound like we're being mean to J-Hope.
We're not.
My phrase was no upcharge. Like, you go to Subway.
Yes.
And you want guac on that sandwich, and they're like, that's going to be an upcharge. But for me, J-Hope was like getting guacamole with no upcharge. It was like exactly.
Like all the extra.
It was, because I hate to say he wasn't extra. He was as extra as I thought he was going to be.
Yeah.
Because he's always extra.
Yeah.
So I don't know how you can be like more extra than that.
He was like more mature, and I don't think that's
almost
the right
like
word for it.
More subdued
than I expected.
And
it was great because it was like very sexy, and he was very sexy, and his performance was very sexy. But like, of all of them, I was like, yep, that's J-Hope.
Yep.
That's exactly what I thought it would be.
It's guacamole without
and I'm
the
very
charge.
happy.
Yes.
Thank God.
Exactly
Thank God. It's exactly what I was hoping for.
Yes. Yeah, so we're not poo-pooing on him, I swear.
I would never.
But it was like he's always on.
And that's the thing. Becca and I would be honest if we were disappointed, because he's like kind of our favorite member in a lot of ways. And it was just, he was fantastic.
He was great.
Everything he did was perfect. There was nothing to say.
There's nothing to say.
He was fantastic.
He was perfect. He was spot on. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And he was extra. I don't know. It was exactly, he was J-Hope.
He was J-Hope.
He was
yes.
J-Hope. All right, RM.
I definitely remember my word. It was auga. Because, guys.
Can I say my word?
Yes.
Okay. That sound effect made me think of this one. Mine was because wow. You guys, I did not know what to expect for RM going in.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
Yeah.
By far, his beauty blew me away the most. Wow.
I've said this already to you, but for the last few months, I've been telling you all a story about how Jungkook is my bias and I love him the most. But the story that the photos and videos that I walked away from that place would tell is all about RM.
It's the RM story.
Woof. Woof and meow. Because first of all, his presence is like a benevolent ruler. where you're like, I'm in awe, but I'm not scared of you. I respect you from a distance, but also feel like I know you personally.
Yes.
So that was crazy. Then also, he's just so good looking.
More, like we said, they're all better looking in person, but RM was like a different.
There's something
like
about
a different
him.
person.
Yeah,
in person.
It's like cameras cannot capture him.
No.
Correctly. And I already thought he was hot.
Mm-hmm.
But in real life, it was just like, I was just speechless.
So the moment I know you're thinking of is at the end of the show, they all came out in the Love Yourself
I'm still not over
t-shirts.
this.
And RM was donning these
Glasses.
thick framed
They were like,
glasses.
What's Superman's real name?
Clark
Kent.
Yes.
He looked like
Kent
a
Clark?
sexy idol Clark Kent. And it was just the best thing.
Okay, not a joke. The dad next to me, they all walked out. When the camera panned to RM and he was thrown on the big screen right next to us, the dad goes, "Oh, wow."
That's what he does.
I'm serious.
That's what he does to
It
people.
was insane.
It's exact. That's a
And I think
perfect
collectively,
anecdote.
you could just hear a crowd being like,
and it's
"What
so funny
happened?"
because the show we were at, we're happy to brag, was the show where Jungkook pulled up Jimin's shirt and exposed his abs, and then V pulled up Jungkook's shirt and exposed his abs. And somebody on Twitter was like, "I don't know what Chicago did in their past life to deserve this," but I was like, "Yeah," but that was all great and everything. It paled in comparison to RM's glasses because he just looked so dang beautiful. Like it really was like,
yeah, the word handsome is not good enough. It was pure.
it's like
beauty.
dream boy. Like,
Yeah.
like you create a perfect man in your head and RM just walked out looking like that man. And it was like, stop it.
Excuse me, sir.
Excuse me. I'm already
I said
feeling
no.
a lot of things. I'm exhausted. My feet are killing me.
We are old ladies. This
We-
is too.
I
Call up
can't.
Jackson.
I
This is too much excitement for us.
Do it. I'll never be able to properly explain the feeling that I got when he walked out in those glasses. I think Becca and I like clutched each other's arms like
Oh yeah. Well, I think I clutched your body the whole time. I kept I was a male lead in a K-drama. I kept grabbing at various limbs on your body, and I was like, "What am I doing?" I just couldn't express my happiness.
Well, and you're so good because you were like dancing, and I would try to dance, and I would do that awkward thing like, "What do I do with my arms? I don't know what to do." So then I would just like cross my arms, and I'm like, "Oh, Sugar probably thinks I'm not having fun."
Jungkook, please tell Suga that Megan
I was
had a
having
good
so
time.
much fun. If he's still worried about it, tell him to stop worrying about it. I was having a great time. It's just how I am. It's fine.
All right, Jimin.
I don't remember my word, but honestly, I feel like I shouldn't even give him the satisfaction of a word. Because, honestly.
Pick a lane.
Like,
learn to drive.
Like, okay, do you want to say your word or can I just start ranting?
Mine was just like ethereal. I don't know. He was just perfect. But like he's all the evil and all the good in one person.
It's the most complicated thing.
Because he would dance, and I don't mean this in a derogatory way, but he was like a fairy. He was like floating and flying through the air.
You're right. He's inhuman.
And he was like an angel almost, and he was wearing this white getup, and it was stunning. And then he would just look at the camera and he'd be like, "Satan, not today.
Not today.
Not today."
And the flirting.
The flirting
was...
He flirted with every person in front of me.
He
honestly flirted with you in front of me.
I felt like he would like look down into the pit and he was like getting serious with these people.
Yeah.
And I wanted to be like, "Excuse us.
Do you want us to leave?"
I'm telling Jimmy Fallon. Because it was just obnoxious in like the best way. Obviously, it wasn't really obnoxious.
He's so playful.
It was so him.
But then he turns around, he's so sultry, and I'm like, I don't know how to feel about you.
I have to. Okay, the story that stuck with me, and it was like in my top 3 moments in the whole show, and just goes to show like we'll never escape Jimin. Like I'll never. Why can't I quit you? Like Jimin is
I just can't quit you.
It's like he's not my bias or my bias wrecker because he can't. You cannot contain him in those terms. Like, he is just there to make things complicated all the time. He belongs to everyone. That's how I feel. So he did Serendipity. I've said it so many times. It's one of my all-time favorite BTS songs.
It was kind of beautiful.
It was incredible. It got me.
And anybody who maybe questions if they lip sync, they don't lip sync.
They definitely don't.
They definitely do not lip sync.
It was so good. And at the end of Serendipity,
he said, let me love you.
And then instead of finishing the last little let me love you, he like laughed.
He just goes, let me love, giggle, 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 hiding his face, super cute. Oh,
it was
and all the brains exploded.
Thing I have ever seen in my entire life.
Go Google it or go YouTube it.
It's on YouTube. It's the cutest thing to the point where like
so
I was mad of how cute it was.
But also, I don't know how it happened because it was quiet as a mouse. Like everybody was sucked into because we all knew he was going to whisper those last few sentences, and it got so quiet in an arena full of like 25, 30,000 people. God. And then he just like looked up and just started giggling and like words escaped me.
Becca will attest to this. I doubled over. Because it was like, it was so cute. It's as though the cuteness was an arrow that he shot directly at my guts. I was doubled over. I had to like hold on to the railing, and I just looked at her and I was like, that was the cutest thing I've ever seen. And she was doing the same thing where she was like, what is happening? It was so cute.
I felt like I was on a reality show, like a prankster reality show, where they're like, you're gonna get one thing and then we're gonna like trick you and do something else. It was like, here's Jimin's amazing sultry performance. Just kidding, now he's adorable.
Oh my god.
Honestly, I didn't know how to react.
It was like I could never have expected it. I just couldn't. I know. He giggled. Okay. Who cares?
I know. It sounds lame.
You guys,
go YouTube it.
It was so cute. It was so cute. I felt like that video of that little girl who like doesn't want her little brother to ever grow up. She's like, he's so cute. That's how I feel about Jimin, where I'm just like, oh my god, never change.
We must protect him.
Just stay this adorable forever. Except for I'm also mad about it. It was so cute. It ruined my life.
Words.
It was so cute.
It was a moment we all shared.
I wish that I could.
It was a moment that if you weren't there to verify that it happened, I might think I made it up.
Yes.
Like I might think there's no way somebody is that adorable.
Well, and then I was like, maybe he does that at every tour stop because it was like, again, so effective.
Yes.
People freaked the F out.
Yeah.
We were all just like melting from cuteness. But then I Googled a bunch of them, and that was the only one I found where I think it was like he was reacting to the crowd because we all got so quiet.
We were all cheering like crazy.
And I think it literally.
And then we all like, it was like somebody turned the volume off.
It was incredible. And I think he reacted to the like, whoa, like it was kind of like, whoa, everybody got really quiet. And then as soon as he laughed, we were all like, we just all lost our minds.
It was adorable.
I'll never ever be able to explain how cute it was. I'm sorry. It was so cute and so infuriating.
All right, V.
I don't remember what I said about him, but I'm gonna say duality is a good word for him for the show. And I have a specific example. So V to me is just like a very upbeat, pleasant presence.
Yes.
Again, it's just like, if V is nearby, how can you be unhappy? He seems like a super great person. So I got that kind of vibe. Like, oh yeah, it's kind of like with J-Hope. It's like, V is exactly as I expect. He's really positive and he's like hopping around and he's saying hi to everybody and he's really looking around and felt like he was really experiencing the moment the way that we talked about trying to do ourselves. And that was just lovely and exactly kind of what I expected from him. And then that little SOB got up during Singularity.
Oh.
Okay. So.
Wait, can I say my word?
Yes.
Because this fits in well.
Yes.
My word was intimate.
Yes.
That is my word for V.
Yes.
You continue and then I'll give you my reasoning.
Okay. So you've all seen the video where he's dancing with the coat hanger in his arm. And so he does that on stage. And he this platform rises out of the ground, out of the stage, and he's got the what do you call it, coat rack?
Mm-hmm.
And he's about to do it. His face, he had this smirk on his face. It's like it's burned into my brain, and I can't describe it. I'll never do it justice.
Mm-hmm.
It was so sexy. It was like the same amount sexy as Jimin's cute laugh was cute.
Yes.
V's facial expression was so sexy. It was like, I was almost mad. Like, okay, I know what you're doing. Excuse you. I don't need this right now. Like, I've already been through a lot tonight. And then he has the audacity to come up out of the floor looking like that.
It was.
And it was like,
insane.
Okay, you were just being like cute little fun V running around the stage, and now I'm confused. What was your reasoning?
I said intimate because first off, the singularity choreography is just it makes you feel like you're watching a moment, and it's just between a man and himself.
That song.
Essentially, that's what it is. But I felt like I should close my eyes for it.
It's just between a man and himself.
I didn't. I watched the whole thing.
That's so funny.
But no, there were several parts where he would not be like the center of attention,
mm-hmm.
and they did so good. They were all always spread out. There was always somebody right in front of us at all times,
mm-hmm.
and he would be looking around like he said he does at every single section. And I remember at one point there was like a hubbub going on the first stage that juts out, and I look back and V is on the main stage in the corner in the dark, just looking at like our section, like the sections above us, and then you can tell his eyes are coming down, and I was like, he's gonna look at us, and I'm gonna wave and whatever, and I'm so excited. And he did, and like he like nodded, like, but I felt like he did it to everybody there. I don't know how he did it. I felt like he looked at every single person in that center and like nodded and acknowledged their presence and had that smirk, and then just moved on. But I felt like it was a very, very personal moment with a person that I feel like I know really well, and I don't know that well. But it, like, I think it was crazy. It's intimate.
He seemed like he was having a very authentic experience.
Yes.
So it's like, I don't know how to say this right. Because none of them, it didn't feel like any of them were like just performing, like just coming out there and pretending to be in a good mood.
Not
it
at
seemed
all.
like all of them were being very authentic as to who they were, because they don't really need to put on a show. Like, we're there to see them. We feel like we know them. Like, they gave us, that side of them. But it did feel like V was like very much having his own personal experience outside of the performance, because you're right, I would notice him off kind of in the darkened part of the stage where, he wasn't the center of attention. He wasn't saying anything, just looking. And that was kind of wonderful for sure.
It was really sweet. But it was. We had a couple listeners warn us that like he really does take it seriously and he will look at everybody. And so I kept trying to watch him, and it's absolutely true. But I feel like if you weren't looking for it, you never would have noticed that he was off doing that.
No.
Because he always did it like when it wasn't,
he was
knew
like,
he could just kind of doze off for a while and look around.
That same thing where I'd be like, where'd Jin go? I'd be like, where'd V go? And then V would be off experiencing something deeply and personally.
It was beautiful. All right, Jungkook.
I don't have a word. What's your word? I'll come up with a word.
Okay, this is going to sound like I'm dogging him. I just whelmed.
Whelmed?
I was not underwhelmed, and I was not overwhelmed.
God, Becca, he's listening.
I know. Jungkook, you just whelmed me in a great way, because here's the thing. He is so much better in person, like dancing-wise. He looks insane. He sings even better than what I thought he would. He spoke English way better than I thought he would. His stage presence was great, but I felt like he had all that going for him, but he like downplayed it. I feel like he almost like in a good way. I feel like he didn't want to steal the attention away from his older members. Yeah. So he was trying to like not hide it, but just not make like a spectacle of himself.
Don't put your light under a bushel, Jungkook.
Yeah. And again, I'm not dogging him. It was everything he did was absolutely amazing.
Yes.
I just feel like he was like, well, I'm here and I'm having so much fun, and I would rather showcase their talents than my own. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
Like, he still gave it 1,000%. But I just think he was like, but look how good Jimin sings. Look how good Jimin's abs are. I felt like he was trying to like show off the other members.
I can't, and
which is adorable.
Obviously, I was paying extra close attention to him because I love him deeply. And he was incredible. It was similar to J-Hope, where it was like, this is exactly what I expected. Like, this is the level of perfection that I expected.
Yes. And he made it seem effortless, too.
I almost feel like maybe it's a little bit because I am so obsessed with like both J-Hope and Jungkook that I watch so much of their stuff. And I feel like I've seen them do everything so many times that I was more focused on other members because it was like, I have never seen this before. I've never paid attention to them before. And so that's why my attention was like, dude, watch Yoongi. Like, well, I literally couldn't stop watching Yoongi.
The people that we mentioned were Jimin, Yoongi, RM, Jin a little bit, where it's like people that I think we know what to expect, but they're a little more unexpected at the show. Whereas like J-Hope and Jungkook, for sure, we kind of knew what to expect, and we got exactly what we expected.
I saw so many fan cams of like J-Hope thrusting, and I saw so many fan cams of Jungkook doing whatever. It was like, yes, I saw this already.
Yes.
Which is my own fault for watching all of it. And it's not that it's the same every night. It's not. I know it's different. I don't know. I thought he was wonderful.
They were all great.
The jawline was upsetting. It was so beautiful.
I had to leave with Band-Aids on my hands.
Whew.
Cut us all.
Jungkook's jawline is something else. Yeah, I can't think of a single word. It's like I'm almost still processing it. Because it was like, I would try to watch him for a prolonged period of time, but then I'd be like, but there are 6 other people you have to watch. It's almost like I did that more, where I was like, don't just watch Jungkook.
Right.
Don't be that girl.
You made
don't
a
just watch him.
effort
I was like,
to
watch everybody. And then by
Good
the end, I'm like,
you.
oh, I didn't watch Jungkook. So Jungkook, you have to give me a private show. Show me what I missed. Change my word. I guess my word, would just be like, I can't think of one. I'm sorry. I've let you down, Jungkook. I can't think of a word. You're indescribable.
There you go. That's
indescribable.
Good. Indescribable.
Indescribably sexy.
Should we just talk about the show now real quick?
Yeah.
All right. So it started with the videos.
Yes.
Guys, we loved the Big Bang videos.
Those were amazing.
At the Big Bang concert, because they were very Quentin Tarantino and dark and gangsterish, and they were awesome, like little mini movies. The BTS videos were just so darn delightful.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
the first one with J-Hope and Jungkook, I was like, this is the cutest thing I've ever seen.
I think I left with a cavity.
Yeah,
they were seriously
it was
the
so
sweetest
adorable
thing I'd ever seen.
And then Jimin came out and did his laugh, and I was like, well, you topped it. But
Yoongi did the piano thing.
Oh my God.
There was a video
so
of,
cute.
If you guys haven't seen it, there's an old video where before a show, Jimin takes like a piece of cardboard and a Sharpie, and he draws a piano on this piece of cardboard and hands it to Yoongi. And then Yoongi is like fake playing on this piece of cardboard, and then he picks up his hands and he's got black marker all over his fingertips, and he gets mad at Jimin.
He just like flips the piano.
He just like throws it at Jimin, and Jimin's like, I'm sorry. And so one of these videos leading up to it was Suga holding a cardboard piano made out of sharp and like playing it.
Yeah.
It was so cute. It was like every fan vid ever that we all love and adore and have seen 1,000 times.
Yes.
Put into like really well-made, delightful, colorful videos.
Definitely.
It was the cutest thing ever.
Definitely.
And so that's how the show started. And then they kept playing them throughout the
kind of like to
performances.
introduce the next vocalist and rapper who would perform.
But the show started with Idol.
An incredible start to the show.
Which was, again, great for Megan and I, because the choreography faced us.
And the choreography was so tight and perfect.
Which I don't understand. And they had flames, like fire.
It was so hot.
It was so hot.
It was
amazing. Amazing.
Yeah, it was so great.
So that performance was great. We already talked a little bit about Serendipity. The only one that, like, again, they're all great, but the one performance that really stuck out to me that we have a story about is Airplane Part 2. Because in the choreography, they have 2 microphones. So
wow. They could not have planned this concert better for us, because we literally got one thing from every member that we like would have been disappointed not to have gotten.
Yes, and we got it. We got it here. RM, we got your gift for us here.
He gave a lot of gifts that night.
So they have 2 microphones. So they start with one. That one was fine. That was a fine performance. The microphone, earned its money.
Super great. I love the beginning of that song.
So then halfway through, RM, like sneakily, quote unquote, carries this other microphone out.
Place it, right?
And all he has to do is set it down on the stage. So he sets it down, and he's doing this awkward, like, grandpa thing where he's, like, bent over, like he's not on stage in front of 50 or 25,000 people. And so he creeps out, and it was just, my eyes were just drawn to it, and I was like, something's going to happen. Mm-hmm. So I couldn't stop watching him. So he sets it down. He turns around to leave. The microphone immediately falls over and hits him.
Oh, yeah.
Immediately.
And he like sees and he like runs back to put it up again.
So then he runs back and he's like got his long lanky arms and he's like pushing it up again and it falls over the other way.
And he just sort of is like, well, I can't do anything about this. So he just like walks up to his place.
He does that great thing where he's just like, oh. like... Like his head and his shoulders like hang for a minute, and then you can tell he's like, well, I gotta get into place to dance.
I saw all of this as it was happening, but then Becca saw more of the story unfold that I did not see.
So then finally it gets to the part where it's Suga and Jimin each pick up a microphone
while J-Hope's singing.
J-Hope is singing. So Jimin like runs over and RM points at the microphone on the floor, and Jimin just laughs like, of course it's on the floor. So Jimin picks it up. You can tell what has happened. I don't know when it happened. The microphone doesn't have a base. It's just gone. It's just a pole. So yeah, it's not going to stand up. So Jimin and Yoongi are holding the microphones for J-Hope, and they're all dancing. And then at the end of the choreography, Yoongi and Jimin are supposed to set them down upright on each side of the stage. Well, Suga looks at Jimin and is just like shrugging. And then finally he just takes his microphone and just whips it at the ground. He just like throws it down. It was so, and when he did it, V was like crouched down. The choreography, V was like crouched down facing us, and he was laughing so hard. I was dying. It was so adorable.
I was just happy to know like some RM broke something while we were there. Yes. But I didn't even know that it just continuously spiraled.
It was a continual spiral.
It's so funny.
Oh, just the way RM was like, oh. Like it was the cutest thing ever. It's exactly what I would want when meeting RM. It was perfect.
Again, I can't believe how often he breaks stuff. It's so silly.
I don't think it's a gimmick, guys.
It can't be at this point. If it were a gimmick, they're overdoing it. Like they need to calm down because it's too much.
It was class. And honestly, there were so many people that I thought, oh, they did not catch that. Like, there's probably thousands of people that did not catch what just happened here.
We were just the right angle to see it.
Funny.
It was great.
It was so funny. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
And I think we were close enough where we could read a lot of their facial expressions, and it was like, God, they were just all being themselves. Like, Jin was laughing, V lost it. Suga was just like, well, screw this, and he threw the microphone. And Jimin was like, okay, so then Jimin threw his.
I will too.
Poor RM with his, it was just great.
Wonderful.
Great.
Were there other like big moments we wanted to talk about?
That was my favorite. That was probably my favorite moment.
It was incredible
because it was just all of their personalities wrapped into one.
I will say, if I had to pick one highlight from the show, and I went in kind of thinking this was going to be my favorite part, and it was Love, was RM's solo, because I just think that song is so perfect, and his performance was so just exuberant, and he was so cool. It's amazing. They're all like, it's amazing the duality of all of them, because he can be such a silly ding dong, like when he breaks the mic and doesn't know what to do, but then he's just so confident and cool and captivating. I couldn't take my eyes off of him. I was just in heaven through that whole song, and at the end of the song, all of them come back on stage to perform the DNA or something, and like, well, he's having the audience sing, they're coming up and they're all singing with him, and it was just so beautiful. I wish I could relive just that moment over and over again.
It was great.
Yeah.
Also, Seesaw.
Oh, man.
So, of course, we know the choreography before going to the show, but you guys, it's just
so cool.
Words escape me again, because the curtain opens, and I don't know if he was rising up, but he was elevated
Yeah.
on a white couch, and he's wearing this sparkly red,
That is the best outfit I've ever seen in
like
my life.
Hugh Hefner meets fancy formal
Yeah.
tuxedo wear. I don't
Yeah.
know. It was insanely attractive. But he opens up laying down naturally and like doesn't even raise his head. Like he's just doing his thing. Then he gets up, and then I was like, of course, this is his choreography. He gets on these two benches, and the backup dancers like pick up the benches. So it looks like he's moving even though he's not putting in any effort. He's just sliding down off of this bench.
I feel like that really spotlighted his gorgeousness also.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't prepared for how handsome he is in real life either.
He's extremely
Maybe
handsome.
that's what it is. I was prepared for J-Hope's handsomeness, and I was prepared for Jungkook, and I was prepared for Jimin to a certain extent, and V and Jin. I wasn't prepared for Yoongi. I wasn't prepared.
Yeah.
Even though I think he's always handsome, I've never been like, oh, that guy's terrible.
Right.
He's gorgeous and super great. But it was just, he's something else in real life. It's just something different. I can't.
adore him. It was so great.
You've
And
chosen well, Becca.
the other thing is the choreography. We've said it about his like stage performance, but he's so good. He's such a good dancer, but he makes it seem like it's nothing. Like
And
it's
that's,
not
I feel like
even
he never
trying.
gets credit for what a good dancer he is,
Yeah.
because it's like, he's like, whatever, it's fine. It's no big deal.
It's no big
I
deal.
feel like that's his whole thing, is like, it's fine, it's no big deal, even though you're like, no, you're better than everybody at everything. It's, again, pretty infuriating.
It was great. And
So-
then he ends laying down again.
Oh,
and it was
and then,
perfect.
okay, you're talking to a couple of Midwestern gals here, okay? You're also talking to a couple of girls who grew up in the 90s.
Yes. And one of them's first crush was Michael Jordan.
Loved him deeply
Yes.
from a very young age.
Yes.
At the end, they all came out in Love Yourself shirts, and one version of the shirts are black and red, which are Chicago Bulls colors. Yoongi came out in his own Bulls jersey. It said Suga and number 3 on the back, and it made me love him even more because it was he spoke through a translator, and he was just talking about how he grew up loving the Bulls, because if you lived any time during the 90s, you know the Chicago Bulls were like a powerhouse in basketball and sports and anything. And it made me so happy that it felt like such a personal experience he was giving us, because, you know, I grew up not far from Chicago my whole life. I have that connection to the city. I have that connection to the team. I don't even really watch basketball anymore, but it just made my little heart swell.
It was so cute. And he
It
was
was
the
so
only
sweet.
one not sticking to the
Dress code.
Dress code.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was just delightful. It was so delightful, and it made it feel so special to me. So Jungkook, tell Yoongi that was such a nice touch, and I personally really appreciated it.
And the cool thing is, after the show, the Bulls retweeted a photo of him wearing it, and the Bulls said, looking good, Yoongi.
It was awesome.
It was so
like all
sweet.
these worlds converging in such a peaceful, happy way. It made me really, really happy. And everything they all said at the end, they just said such lovely things. You just left feeling like you'd had a really positive, like life-changing in a very small positive way, where you're like, I have a new perspective tonight. I'm leaving this place and I feel great.
Yes.
I feel good about who I am. I feel good about the people in my life. I feel good about my choices sometimes. and so it just felt like such a positive, happy experience.
It was wonderful. The only other moment that really sticks out to me is at the very end. What did they end with? I forget what they were singing at the very end. It was the I Should
outro.
Love Myself.
Yeah.
And it was, everybody was singing, and the whole crowd was singing. We're all waving our hands. It was beautiful. And then the gods smiled upon me, and right in front of us, like they were all over the place, Jimin and Suga, side by side, facing Megan and I, decided to just chill there for a bit and like sing and dance, and I have never felt luckier. I did not take a lot of photos at the show.
No, which is good.
I did get a really good one of Suga and Jimin singing right side by side, and it makes you feel like you're right there. But it was also an experience for me. Isabel, if you're still listening, that is one of the times where I said, "You dangerous man."
He really is. It was, yeah. Like some of those moments where I feel like 7 members is almost too many for me because I'm trying to keep track of all 7 of them. And it's like, you're all moving too fast. Just stay still. So I don't even remember that many times. I feel like there was a moment where V was right in front of us and I was like, I feel like I'm connecting with you. This is really great. That song, hearing the audience sing along, so powerful. And I've said this before, I make fun of the light stick sometimes where I'm like, I don't get it. What's the point? Wow, do they look incredible.
Yeah, when they're
seeing
all
them all
together.
Light up and everybody, it's just such a unifying moment to know you're in a place with a bunch of people who are all supporting a group who supports really positive things and who have had a huge impact on a lot of people's lives. It was pretty magical.
It was great.
Yeah.
A couple other, real quick, not necessarily related to that show or the specific songs and stuff. Couple moments I want to mention. Megan dressed like V in the Idol music video.
I tried so hard to find suspenders, but they are too restrictive.
She wore this white shirt covered in little red hearts, and it was the most adorable thing ever. So also, I wrote a blog post on our website. So we will post the link on Twitter. If you're not on Twitter, just reach out to us and we'll get back to it. But I put all of the pictures that we took on there. You can see our whole experience top to bottom. It was just so great, guys. And honestly, for people who couldn't go to the show for any reason at all, I'm really sorry. But we did cheer super loud. We thought about you. It was like that unspoken thing in my heart where I was just like, I'm enjoying this for everybody.
We're here for everyone. Yeah.
I know. I felt guilty experiencing it that way.
It's not good to feel guilty, but it's good to not take it for granted.
Yes.
You know, like you shouldn't feel guilty because...
And we're trying to share it all. Like, here's the pictures and here's what you missed. And I did... One of my favorite pictures is I took a... I don't know who she is, but there was a woman in general admission or the floor, whatever that is. And wearing a Suga shirt. And like halfway through the show, she was just like... physically, emotionally, mentally spent, and she just sat down. Yeah. And it's like her and this floor just covered in confetti and glitter and
current mood. Hashtag reasons.
It was amazing.
Feelings.
And then I also took a great photo of my wrist, which is where the fake tattoo I wore was Suga's signature. And then I had the BTS light stick holding up. And there's a great picture of just like those two things when it was like dark. I think it was like we were waiting for them to come back on the stage, but it was great. So check it out, guys.
We cannot emphasize how cool these fake tattoos were. I've never wanted a tattoo, and I feel like I was like, I'm about to go get Tata tattooed on my arm because I had J-Hope's signature and Tata.
Which is the coolest signature.
His signature is amazing. It would make an awesome real tattoo.
J-Hope's and V's signatures are
really
the coolest
good
signatures.
And Jeff had Mang on his arm, and he looked so cool. And I was like, you should really get that tattooed on your arm. He was like, maybe not. So is it okay if I move on from BTS? Is there anything else you want to say about the concert for now?
Real quick. Okay, the only other thing I want to say really fast is at the end then. When RM got up to speak, do you remember Jimin nuzzling into his neck?
Oh my god, yes. Okay.
So Jungkook walked up behind RM and started pulling on his ears.
He was like trying to make his glasses go up and down.
And then Jimin just walked right up and stuck his head into his neck.
I feel like Jimin was all of us because we all wanted to neck RM at that moment. And Jungkook knew we all wanted to neck RM, so he was trying to make him look like a goofball so we wouldn't want to make out with him anymore.
But it only made us want to neck him more.
But it basically just made me, want to run up and like smack his hands off and be like, don't you touch those glasses.
Those are a national treasure.
Those are incredibly important to me in my life. Those just changed my world, dude.
So that moment, and then Jungkook came up behind Jimin and pulled up his shirt. And you guys, I'm not kidding you. This is that Jimin duality.
Oh my god.
Where Jimin was like, oh no, don't stop. And you could tell he was not even trying to stop him.
I'm such a mess. I barely worked out this week. It was just like, oh god, you look perfect.
He's also like giggling like a schoolgirl. What happened? So I was like, I don't know how to feel right now.
Yeah. And then when they exposed Jungkook's abs, it was the total opposite. Where he was just like, yeah, man, these are my abs.
Jungkook was just like,
here they are.
I get to see them every day.
Who doesn't love them? And I was like, I do love them. They are very good abs. Nothing compared to those glasses, though. Don't touch those glasses.
I would say for sure, at the end of the day, 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Also, the most amazing experience. It was great. We had our friends in town. The whole trip was just great.
RM must have read the crowd really well about the glasses, because immediately after the concert, he tweeted selfies of himself wearing those glasses as though we are bugged, and Big Hit is taking every cue from us, because I'm sure I was like, man, I would take a couple pics of him in those glasses. It's the background of my phone.
Seriously. Oh, it is. She's not lying. Gosh, what is it about those glasses?
He looks amazing. I mean, wow, that's a good selfie. I gotta know. Hey, Jungkook, ask RM what filter he uses on his selfies, because they look great. Anyway,
so I would say that's it. Real quick, I'll give you a minute to talk about what I think you want to talk about. But thank you to everybody who gave us advice before the show. Thanks to everybody who went. I think we have some new listeners of people that we've met at the show. So hello, welcome.
We miss you.
We miss you. It was so nice to meet you all at the show. Chris on Twitter. We went to DPR Live the night before BTS in Chicago. And it turns out that Chris was there, but I had zero cell phone reception. So I kept I went to the bathroom at one point.
No reception.
And then I would get reception. I was like, Megan, Chris direct messaged us on Twitter and said that she's here. So then I was kind of looking around without trying to be creepy, but we never ended up getting to meet up with you. And hey, this is us saying hey.
We'll have to debrief on that concert next time, because it was a pretty amazing experience. Also
A+, 10 out of 10, super fun. So anyway, any final thoughts on the Love Yourself tour?
I'm sure I'll come up with some in the future. So for the next 6 or 7 years, every now and then I'll be like, oh, I have another thing I want to say about that concert.
Please do.
Yeah, forever.
So the left spectacle of those glasses.
So anyway, I want to keep talking about those glasses.
There are pictures of those glasses
on BTS's Twitter.
On the post that
on the one that you did.
Yeah, so we'll share those pictures.
Speaking of our website,
yes,
I have an update for anyone who wants to do our BTS book club.
Yes. So
we're going to do a book club where we talk about books that have some connection to the BTS canon, and that includes that are have inspired videos or mentioned in songs, whatever. So I'm putting together a post. I'm gonna put the background of some of the books up on our website, and then I'm gonna have you go to Twitter to vote on what you guys want to read first, because I can't decide. So look for that in the next couple days. If you don't have Twitter and you want to take part, email me and we will make sure you get all the information. But yeah, I'm really excited because it's been a while since I read a book. So RM making us better people as usual. Thank you, sir.
It's been a while. I listened to a lot of books.
That
Does
counts.
that count?
Yes,
okay.
that definitely counts.
Well, that's all right. I can't wait. I'm excited.
Yeah, me too. It'll be good.
Yeah, we get to do things, activities.
Soon. I'm working on that now. So
also, I want to say really fast, I'm super grateful, and I need to put it out there. So my husband also asked me when I got home, what was your favorite part of your trip? And I was like, I knew he expected me to say the concert, and it was great. But I was like, honestly, the morning of the concert, it's our friend Irene and then Jeff were sleeping in, and Megan and I just got up and drank coffee in our pajamas without touching our hair and makeup for an hour and a half.
It was the best.
Glorious.
We didn't look at our phones.
Nope.
We just sat there and talked.
And then in the middle, this is BTS related, because in the middle of the talk, we're talking about all this stuff.
Tons of stuff.
And all of a sudden I just go, oh my God, we got to see BTS tonight. It was just it was like we both woke up in this sleepy haze, and all of a sudden it just hit me, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's happening.
Yeah,
it's really here.
It really happened.
I'm never getting rid of my ticket stub. I'm never getting rid of my light stick. It was amazing.
It really was just the best experience, aside from being pulled on stage and they all swore that they would love us eternally, which maybe next year.
Put it out in the universe.
That could happen.
You never
anytime.
know. Dreams come true.
Maybe before their next international tour, they'll stop by your basement for a quick chat with Noona Ya Business Podcast.
You never know.
It could happen.
Weirder things have happened.
Yeah.
And do daily.
Amen.
So we're putting it out there.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, as always, guys, thank you so much for listening. Megan, you want to take us out of here?
Yes. Find us on Twitter at Noona Ya Business, Facebook at Noona Ya Business. You can email us, Becca@NoonaYaBusiness.com, Megan at NoonaYaBusiness.com. You can also find us on Podbean, Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, and please check out our sponsor, whoarted.com. That's who arted, ARTED.com. She's also on Instagram. You'll find lots of great projects and pictures.
Yay. Actually, a couple listeners and I have connected on Instagram.
Which is wonderful.
Love talking to you guys.
Yes.
So yeah, we will be back hopefully next week.
Mm-hmm.
Things are a little crazy with Megan's schedule. I don't want to say anything that I'm not supposed to, but Megan has some really exciting opportunities coming up. So she'll be traveling a lot. I don't know where she'll be. And yeah, I'm going to miss seeing your face.
We can definitely podcast next week.
Okay.
Let me know.
Okay. Yay!
We might even get my filmmaker brother to make an appearance.
You guys are going to love him.
He's such a jerk.
So anyway, whether this is your first episode or 35th episode, thank you so much for joining us today and for listening to Noona Ya Business.